Good afternoon. My name is Zach Levine. I've been a coworker and friend of Lieutenant DeMonte since the start of my career nearly a decade ago. To stand before you and speak about this exceptional man is an absolute honor. For those of you who did not know him, Dustin was the best of the best. He was the most honest, kind, sincere person that you could have ever met. He genuinely cared about every person that he came across. Civilians, students, family, friends, and strangers. Over the last few days, many of us have been talking about the wonderful memories we have of Dustin, ones that have made us laugh even in this dark time. So I'm here to share a couple of those stories with you in the hopes that they will highlight the kind of person that Dustin was and maybe even make you smile, because that's what Dustin would have wanted us to do. Dustin loved to dance, and he was great at it. In fact, Dustin and Laura had one of the most epic wedding entrances to date. Their wedding was beautiful, and the bridal party came out one by one. Laura and Dustin broke through the doors looking so elegant. They made their way to the dance floor, hugging and kissing, and then the beat dropped. The two of them broke into a well-choreographed dance that included the whip nae and a very well-done stanky leg by Dustin. Then there was the Kitcher wedding, where he made his entrance, as a groomsman and convinced one of the bridesmaids to twerk. They nailed it. The bridesmaid gave up after a few seconds and walked off to join the rest of the bridal party. Meanwhile, Dustin waited for the peak moment of the song and then continued to twerk, very well, I might add, in the middle of the dance floor, alone, for a very uncomfortably long period of time. The next story was one that I wasn't present for and only heard about, but it's worth sharing for no better reason than it is funny. While Dustin was on field training, he was working third shift, and he brought in an arrestee who, let's say, was uncooperative. He was a spitter. Dustin was instructed to go to the supply room and get a spit mask. He always listened to his superior officers and did exactly as he was told. When Dustin returned, he had the spit mask securely placed upon his own head so that when the arrestee spat, it wouldn't get in his mouth or eyes. He learned that night that spit masks are to be placed on the person doing the spitting, not on the police officer. And while I'm sure it was reflected in his daily report, he never made that mistake again. Finally, I'd like to tell two quick stories about Dustin and his wonderful way with animals. The first story is about a cat named Garfield who wore a leash and lived in Grand Central Station with his owner. During one Christmas season, Dustin, Laura, and a few of us took the train into New York City. At the end of the night, we got back to Grand Central, and Dustin decided we needed to stop to get baked goods for the train ride home. While ordering, Dustin was behind Garfield's owner and was unknowingly stepping on his leash. When his owner started walking, the leash pulled and the cat let out a howl, and his owner angrily turned around and began accusing Dustin of trying to kill her cat, causing quite the scene. Laura and the other girls came aggressively flying over to Dustin's defense, and the New York City Transit Police ended up in the mix. In true Dustin fashion, he coolly and calmly explained to the woman that he would never try to kill her cat, and that the whole situation was just a misunderstanding. Just another example of Dustin being Dustin, handling any situation with grace and tact. The second story about Dustin and animals involves a rather large dog. During a call, Dustin and I got sent to serve a warrant. As we walked to the door, I told Dustin that there was a really big dog that lived there and that he wasn't friendly. When we spoke with the resident, I inquired about the dog's whereabouts, and she told me that he was in the bathroom. As we breathed a sigh of relief, we suddenly heard a growl and saw a dog that looked like a lion coming from around the corner of the house. He wasn't in the bathroom, he was going to the bathroom. The dog came barreling for us, and Dustin ran right inside and shut the door behind him, leaving me on the porch alone. The dog latched onto my left arm. Once all was under control, Dustin grabbed me by the collar and pulled me inside. I began screaming on the radio that I needed an ambulance to respond, lights and sirens. I told Dustin that I needed him to check my wounds because I couldn't look. Being the friend that he was, he jumped right into action. He rolled up my sleeve, inspected my arm carefully, and calmly explained that there was nothing, not a single scratch. The dog didn't even break my skin. He never let me live that one down, and I never held a door for him again. Through these stories, I hope that I was able to highlight the kind of person that Dustin was. He was an amazing police officer, but there was no role that he loved more than being a husband and father. Laura, he loved you. Phoebe and Porter deeply. He was proud to call you his, and he was thrilled to be having a third child with you. I'll never forget the smile on his face when he told me that you were expecting number 3. He may be gone from this earth, but he is always with you. He will live on in all of us forever. Each Bristol police officer gained 2 guardian angels on October 12th, and the world lost 2 of the best men it's ever known. Rest easy, Lieutenant DeMonte and Sergeant Hamsey. We'll take it from here.
Good job, Zach. Good job, Zach.